Right now on Cardinal weather, a vigil held last night for 14-year-old Scotty Morris, who has been missing for over a week. What community members are saying.
Plus, it's been nearly 2 years since the Muncie Climate Action Plan was introduced to local government. What the future looks like for that plan.
And one local man donated his kidney to change a Muncie police officer's life. So get the coffee ready and open up those eyes. You're waking up with Cardinal weather.
From Ball State Unified Media, you're waking up with Cardinal weather, live from the Ball State Weather Center.
Hello and welcome. You're waking up with Cardinal weather on this rainy Friday. Here's a live look at the Foundational Science Building here on campus, where we're getting a bit more rain than we'd like. Good morning, I'm Anna Chalker.
And I'm Logan Salzberg. Anna, you're so right. Not only have we had rain, it's been cold, it's been windy. They say it's spring. I'm still waiting for the spring weather.
There's been no seasons at this point in time. And Assistant Chief Weather Forecaster Oliver Moster is with us. And Oliver, we're hopefully going to be getting some of those warmer temps and less rain, right?
Well, we did see some warmer temperatures yesterday, and hopefully not going to be seeing too much rain today. But looking at these current temperatures, 44 degrees here in Muncie, 49 degrees down there in Shelbyville, and generally throughout the area, we do have some temperatures, in the lower 40s to those upper 30s. So hopefully we aren't going to be seeing too much rain throughout today. Looking at the current radar, a couple bands of precipitation that have been moving through. Mostly they're staying to the south of Muncie though, and that's going to be about the deal for the rest of the day as well. But with all of the rain that we have been having recently, we are under a flood watch currently. So for most of the counties in the southern parts of our viewing area, including here in Delaware County, this flood watch is going to be in effect until 8 a.m. on Saturday. So if you do see any flooded roadways, make sure to turn around and do not drown. But in my full forecast, I'll be again talking about the rain chances that we still do have on the way. A little bit windy for your Saturday, and if we are going to be seeing a return to those spring-like temperatures, I'll have all that and more in my full forecast.
Oliver, thank you. It's been more than a week since 14-year-old Scotty Morris went missing out of Eaton.
And with police working with every lead they can, all community members can do now is pray for his safe return. NewsLink Indiana's Grace Bankowski was at last night's vigil.
Right now I'm outside of the Grace and Mercy Gospel Church, where a vigil was just held for the missing Eaton teen. It's been a week since he left his home on East Indiana Avenue. Inside the church, sights of candles and prayers, as a 14-year-old is still nowhere to be found. About 50 to 100 people were in attendance, including Eaton community and first responders. The vigil was a combination of 3 churches in town. I spoke with some attendees and they said they are hoping for Scotty's return very soon, and emotions continue to stay high until Morris is found.
You're so loved by your family, by your community, by the world. The world loves you. You have brought the world together, sweetie. So come home.
Now police are continuing searches with working leads only. State resources like police and Department of Natural Resources are also helping the Eaton police. An update from the Eaton Police Department, they're sending a second request out for people to review their security camera footage from 8:15 to 11 p.m. that night, March 16th. So again, if you have any security camera footage from that night from 8:15 to 11 p.m., be sure to send any tips to the Eaton Police and call them at their phone number. In Eaton, I'm Grace Bankowski, NewsLink Indiana.
There are currently 10 cities in Indiana that have passed a climate resolution, and in April 2021, Muncie became the 8th. Now the Muncie Climate Action Plan is underway and heading to City Council. The Planet Muncie Committee has been working on the Climate Action Plan for quite some time. The historic Climate Resiliency Resolution passed in a unanimous 9-0 vote.
It took a lot of work of looking at data and looking at our greenhouse gas inventory that we had done actually before the climate resiliency resolution, and then trying to put together action steps and implementation steps that the city can take as far as reducing our carbon emissions and all of that. The update is that it took us longer than a year to put the plan together, but we're in the final stages of editing the climate action plan for Muncie, and we're going to give an update at the April Muncie City Council meeting on April 3rd.
The committee was appointed shortly after the resolution passed. A city council meeting is set for Monday, April 3rd.
And there are new developments on the future of the Muncie Mall. According to court documents, the regional shopping center is scheduled to be sold at a sheriff's sale in May. The documents show that a Delaware Circuit Court approved the public auction to compensate Wells Fargo Bank, which obtained a $32 million judgment against the mall. In a community update video, Mayor Dan Reinauer shared why he thinks this is a step forward for the city.
I feel they either are ready to sell the mall now to someone else who will come in and revitalize it, or they already have somebody in mind, so they have to go through this process. It will be in the paper again, and the public notices again, because that's required, probably two more, three times.
March is National Kidney Month, and one local man donated his organ to change a Muncie police officer's life. Tara Konechny has this story.
Chris Swanson, a Muncie police officer, was in kidney failure and was in need of either dialysis or a transplant.
The recommendation that I received from my doctor was to look at finding a living donor.
Matthew and Chris met in 2019 and have kept up a friendship ever since. When Matthew heard that Chris was in need of help, he felt inclined to get checked to see if he was a match for Chris.
Chris needed one. I was like, I'll just sign up, see what the process is like, and go through it. I don't have anything to lose.
Matthew had an incompatible blood type to Chris, but Matthew agreed to do a paired exchange, which involves 4 people. Matt was a donor to another pair of people in the same situation as he and Chris, and the other paired person gave Chris their kidney, so one person in each pair got a successful transplant.
He's telling me, he's like, you got a big kidney. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, that guy had a big kidney.
Matt said the process before surgery took a couple months, but finally on November 16th, Matthew got his kidney taken out, and November 18th, Chris got a new kidney in his abdomen.
Obviously, they put an organ inside of my abdomen, so like everything's been kind of like shifting around and kind of, you know, like at first it stuck out really far, and then it's just kind of gotten pulled back in.
Matt says it was an easy decision when he knew that it would change Chris's life.
That was another part for me. Like, his kids, some of them are so young, and how could I watch them growing up without the person that they love? And I couldn't do that, so it was a relief knowing that he'd be able to be in their lives for weddings, graduations, etc.
In Muncie, Tara Konechny, NewsLink, Indiana.
Back here on campus, after a recent departure from a resident learning coordinator, Botsford Swinford looks to another dorms RLC to help them out. From Studebaker East, 27-year-old Bradford Pace steps up to the challenge of working in 2 dorms. This Truman State alumni looks to fill in as the RLC at Botsford and looks forward to the challenge. These 2 dorms are across campus from one another, so he prioritizes communication to be in both places at once.
I think just supporting students. I think that's a big part of like why I'm in the field at all. And working in housing is the opportunity to work with students and help them grow over the last few weeks of the semester here. So I'm really looking forward to that and getting to build those individual connections with people who live in the hall.
Bradford says he looks to finish the semester strong with his new residents in preparation for the coming year.
In just 60 seconds, a rare sight, how residents in Southern California witnessed a tornado touchdown. Our Ian Kowalski is tracking where that storm was heading.
And that's after your weather now.
Welcome back. Rare and dangerous weather. A confirmed EF1 twister spotted in Southern California.
Now, it's the strongest tornado to hit the Los Angeles area since 1983, but the severe weather isn't over there yet, with millions of people under threat of strong tornadoes in the south. Isabel Rosales takes us there.
A pair of rare tornadoes tearing through the Golden State.
You just don't think Southern California having a storm like this.
One dangerous twister, packing winds estimated up to 110 miles per hour, according to the National Weather Service. The powerful tornado, collapsing roofs, uprooting trees, damaging cars, and sending debris flying into the air.
We thought it was an earthquake. They started screaming earthquake, and then the power just went out.
At least one person was injured.
Typically, with the tornadoes that affect this area, they spin up very rapidly. Unfortunately, sometimes too rapidly to detect or warn for.
Weather whiplash. Californians have been welcoming the much-needed heavy rain and snow to combat drought conditions. But now the storms just keep coming. The severe weather threat, not yet over, as the same weather system rolls east, with more than 40 million people in its path. By Friday, the dangerous weather peaks in the south, with heavy rain and flash flooding expected. Tennessee, Louisiana, and Mississippi facing a level 4 out of 5 for potentially strong tornadoes. I'm Isabel Rosales reporting.
All right, thank you guys. And now we are going to be looking at that national weather. Right now, unfortunately, here in the Midwest, we are not experiencing anything quite as severe as they are out west. As you can see, we have this storm system moving out into the Indiana-Ohio Valley region coming up, and it will be moving into the deep south in the coming days. But out west, they are not quite out of the woods yet. Over here in California area, out towards Idaho as well, we are looking at a bit of snow right now, and that will greatly increase in severity as the day goes on. Fortunately, we are looking at some pretty moderate temperatures right now. 44 up in Muncie as we move down south towards Atlanta, Fort Worth, 61 and 64. They are cooling down quite a bit as we head out west, 29 in Denver. But today's highs, again, we are warming up quite a bit. That Denver will get all the way up to 48, 65 out in Las Vegas, 73 Dallas, Fort Worth. And over in the Midwest, we should expect some pretty similar temperatures for tomorrow as well. 55 over in Cincinnati, 79 in Atlanta. We are heating up as that warm front moves towards the south and that storm system arrives. Now, as we head into the current watches and warnings right now here in the Midwest, we are looking at some flood advisories right here as moving up through Tennessee, parts of southern Illinois, in the Midwest. We are going to be changing up quite a bit, however, as we head out towards the west and California right now. We are looking at some winter weather advisories in the dark blue and some freeze warnings in the lighter blue. They are not quite out of the heat of it yet, or rather the cold of it, because we are looking at a lot of snow and winter weather over there. But in the Midwest, we are looking at quite the opposite. We have a moderate severe weather outlook, and that might be a mild word, but that is quite rare to get out in the deep south. Right now, you can see the storm front kind of hovering over around 4:30 p.m. in the west, and as we head into the rest of the day, out west in California, we are looking at much more severe temperatures. And for the next 6 to 10 days, we are cooling down quite a bit, but you don't have that much to worry about. Back to you guys over at the desk. Thank you.
Ian, thank you. New this morning, Twitter is getting rid of its legacy blue badges next month. Starting April 1st, the social networking site says it will remove all of the verified check marks that were on the site before Elon Musk took over. They say people and businesses who want to check their marks will have to subscribe to a Twitter Blue or Twitter Verified Organizations plan, neither of which are free. People who want to subscribe to Twitter Blue can do so for $8 a month or pay $84 annually. And TikTok faces a big threat as its CEO, Shou Chu, is questioned about the video app's security and its ownership by Chinese company ByteDance. Legislators express concerns and say they have to find the best way to deal with the app. Mike Valerio has the details.
There are more than 150 million Americans who love our platform.
TikTok CEO facing U.S. lawmakers for the first time on Capitol Hill in a heated hearing.
We do not trust TikTok will ever embrace American values. TikTok has repeatedly chosen the path for more control, more surveillance, and more manipulation. Your platform should be banned.
U.S. lawmakers repeating calls for the ban of the video app based on national security concerns about the app's ability to collect data from its users. But TikTok CEO maintains the app doesn't collect any more data than other social media companies.
We will firewall protected U.S. data from unwanted foreign access.
CEO Shou Chu fighting back, attempting to reassure Congress his company has taken action to resolve fears the Chinese government could gain access to TikTok user data.
The bottom line is this: American data stored on American soil by an American company, overseen by American personnel.
But in the eyes of some experts, an all-out TikTok ban is unlikely.
This app has millions of users. Right, so free speech and all of these other considerations come into play, and that's why I think we're far less likely to get a full ban and more likely to see some kind of potentially middle ground restriction.
In Los Angeles, I'm Mike Valerio.
3 weeks after Alec Murdaugh was convicted of murdering his wife and son, his belongings were auctioned off. People lined up for hours to get a glimpse of what the once prominent family owned and to bid on the furniture, decor, and clothing from their South Carolina estate. Now, some of the clothing up for auction still had the names of family members on it.
It's sad because I see this family's life, that everything has been emptied from this home. You know, Maggie, the mother's dead. Paul, the youngest son, is dead, and here you have basically kind of a snapshot of their lives.
And some of those items that sold include a furniture set for $30,000, a mounted antler that went for $10,000, and a Yeti cup that sold for $400.
President Biden and the First Lady on a whirlwind 24-hour trip to Canada, where White House officials say he will, quote, promote our shared security, shared prosperity, and shared values. Before Biden addresses a Canadian Parliament this afternoon, he and Justin Trudeau have a few key issues to discuss. A Canadian official says Biden and Trudeau will also announce the updates they've made to the so-called, quote, safe third country agreement between Canada and the U.S. The modifications are expected to change the way Canada accepts asylum seekers.
And a new report from the UN has warned that the world is facing a looming global water crisis. Experts say increased demand and intensifying impacts of the climate crisis put pressure on water resources. And that report says that water use has increased by about 1% a year over the last 40 years. The number of people in cities facing water scarcity is projected to double to 2.4 billion by 2050. And NASA is ending a 15-year mission studying clouds at the edge of space due to battery issues. The spacecraft AIM, which stands for Aeronomy of Ice in the Mesosphere, is no longer supporting operations. AIM's batteries began declining in 2019, but it was still able to send a significant amount of data. However, that continuing decline in battery power has left it unable to receive commands or collect data.
In just a moment, our sports team has a look at basketball matchups taking place this weekend.
Plus, we have a look at your full forecast. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Cardinal Weather. I'm Max Robson.
And I'm Andy Newman, and the boys basketball state finals are taking place in downtown Indianapolis tomorrow. Let's take a look at the matchups.
At first, we have at 10:30 a.m.
That's an early one. Seriously early.
Very
10:30
early.
a.m. for a state final.
1A Southwood, who are 15-12 on the season, are facing off against Indianapolis Lutheran, 19-7.
And at 12:45 p.m., 2A Blackhawk Christian from Fort Wayne, 26-3 on the year, is taking on Linton Stockton, who is 29-1.
And then at 6 p.m. at 3A tournament, Northwood, 27-2, will face off against the 20-8 Garin Catholic.
And then at 8:15 p.m., the big matchup of the day, Kokomo taking on undefeated Ben Davis. Ben Davis, 32-0 on the year. Crazy stuff.
Let's look at Southwood and Lutheran, who are both very hot streaks right now on 8-game win streak for Southwood, who are only 15-12, so they have been going very good in this tournament, and Lutheran is on a 10-game win streak.
And shout out to Southwood though. 15-12 and making the state tournament and state championship for one is a huge accomplishment, and it shows March. You got to get hot at the right time.
They are winners when it matters.
Yeah. And then at 2A, Fort Wayne Blackhawk Christian has only lost 3 games on the year, all within 5 points. This is one of Blackhawks' first years in 2A. They've won the 1A state championship a few times in recent years. It's looking like a big premier school building in Fort Wayne there with Blackhawk. And then Linton Stockton, 29-1 on the year, with their only loss coming to a team from Kentucky. So they are undefeated in Indiana. Crazy stuff.
And then Northwood in 3A has beat Delta in the semi-state matchup 51-36. One of their 2 losses came against the undefeated Ben Davis, who are in the 4A championship. And then Garin is led by guard Robert Sorensen, who in their win last week dropped 5 threes. So he is going to come out guns a-blazing, just ready to shoot.
Oh yeah, and then as we talked about earlier, the big one of the day and of the night, Kokomo taking on Ben Davis. Kokomo's coming into this one actually pretty hot. They are 24-4 on the year, and their big guy, Flory Badunga, he is a huge dude. He's 6'10". He is a D1 prospect as good as they come. Obviously, the big story, Ben Davis, 32-0, looking to make Indiana basketball history as becoming one of the 14 teams ever to be undefeated in Indiana high school basketball.
And some of the teams that were undefeated in Indiana high school basketball, first was in 1956, led by Oscar Robertson, and that is Crispus Attucks. And they went back to the state championship last year to lose against the next team, South Bend Central, who also went undefeated and took them down.
Yeah, and then another highlighted one from all those undefeated teams. 1970, East Chicago Roosevelt defeated Muncie Central, one of our local schools, in the championship. And then looking more down here in more recent years, at least a little bit, 2006, Lawrence North featured NBA players Mike Conley and Greg Oden. Lawrence North obviously going undefeated, as all these teams are, and winning the state championship in 2006. And then the last one, 2018 Warren Central, Ball State wide receiver Dean Tate and Cleveland Browns wide receiver David Bell from Purdue led Warren Central to an undefeated season. That's the most recent undefeated season here in Indiana high school basketball.
So all these teams are looking amazing. It's going to be an amazing tournament this Saturday. Just make sure you go to Bally Sports and catch these games. Now let's send it back over to Oliver with weather.
It's a good thing that these basketball games inside, because it is still going to be a little bit rainy out there this weekend. But looking at the current temperatures, 44 degrees here in Muncie, 43 degrees down there in Indianapolis, and generally throughout the 40s as you make your way across the state. Now, this is a drastic change from the temperatures that we were seeing at this time yesterday. A 14-degree decrease here in Muncie, almost 20-degree decrease there in Indianapolis, and we should be seeing these cooler temperatures throughout most of the day. But looking at the current radar, again, we do still have that large band of storms that's going to be moving through, bringing us some scattered showers as we move throughout today. And into tomorrow, we are expected to see a little bit of a band of precipitation as we move through tonight. But looking at today, again, keeping those cooler temperatures, 44 degrees here at 9, 44 as well at 12, only dropping down just a little bit as you move into those later afternoon hours, but mostly cloudy skies. Again, possibility of some scattered showers as you move throughout today. But once you hit tonight, that's when you're going to start to see the next band of precipitation move into the area. Maybe some storms to the southern parts of our viewing area, but definitely those later showers. Low of around 41 degrees, winds coming from the east at around 15 15 to 20 miles per hour. Now looking at the weekend, there is going to be a little bit of a wind shift, and with those AM showers here on Saturday and then those dissipating clouds, windy though on your Saturday, winds coming from the west, 20 to 25 miles per hour sustained, and they could be gusting up into the 40s even. But looking at Sunday, partly cloudy skies, nice temperatures, 55 degrees for your high, winds definitely calming down there, coming from the west at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Now, these are the kinds of gusts that we can expect for tomorrow. Here, Saturday, 3 p.m., so early afternoon, gusting up to 45 miles per hour here in Muncie, and even 50 miles per hour there in Portland. So, if you are going to be going out tomorrow, make sure you're hunkering down and don't get blown away with those winds. But those do subside as you move into your Sunday. Another thing that's definitely going to be coming early Saturday is this second band of precipitation, as we can see here on the Precision Cast. Maybe a couple more intense spots here just after midnight on Saturday. And once that moves through, again, some spotty showers for your Saturday that will continue as you move into your Sunday. But once Sunday hits, everything does start to clear out. But if you're not doing anything on your Saturday night, might I recommend coming to Chirp Up, the largest improv festival that's going to be happening on campus, 7 p.m., Pruce Hall. You don't want to miss it. We're going to be having schools from all across the country come. I mean, with this cool guy as a lifeguard, hey, I wouldn't want to miss it either. But Saturday night, we will be seeing dissipating clouds, highs of around 43 degrees, and again, those winds definitely cooling down. But looking at your 7-day forecast, after a very wild weekend, we do see the return of some precipitation, 40% chance for your Monday, and then does get nicer as you move throughout the later parts of that week. But I mean, the change between Saturday and Sunday just going to be crazy with the winds and then just a very mild Sunday.
Welcome to Indiana in March, where you don't know what you're going to get. I feel like we have seen every season this week. It's
And
like,
listen,
who knows?
I don't love that weather, but I did love the last improv show I went to, so I'm so excited for this weekend. What's the theme?
The theme is Chirpwrecked, a la the Alvin and the Chipmunks sleeper hit, the third one in the film series,
Yes.
Chipwrecked. So, be shipwrecked when you come, or what?
I'll be dreaming of some nice summer temperatures while we're listening there so much. Oliver, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Oliver. And in just a moment, we're going to take a look at this week's Adopt-A-Pod.
That's after your weather now.
From the heart of Ball State to the heart of your community, NewsLink Indiana brings you local and state news you care about. We pride ourselves with giving you the most reliable news coverage, stories that affect you, linking you to the community each night on air and online. NewsLink Indiana, bringing news to the heart of your community.
Welcome back. This week on our Adopt-A-Paw segment, we're highlighting an adorable pup that you might recognize.
This paw is looking for a new family after being in a home for a short time. Say hello to Pixie. Her new owner unfortunately fell ill and had to return to Pixie to the shelter. She's between 5 and 6 years old and loves to dance. She does well in a home with older children, and if you're interested in adopting Pixie or any other pet, just head over to the MACS website at cityofmuncie.com. And Oliver, let's get one final check at your weather.
Well, again, we are definitely going to be seeing a crazy weekend. Saturday, 90% chance of precipitation there in the PM. Cools down a little bit as you move into your Sunday with 55-degree high, partly cloudy skies. Clouds do return for the beginning of next week, but temperatures do ramp up as you move later into the week. 30% chance of precipitation there on Thursday with a 57-degree high.
Oliver, thank you so much. That's all for Cardinal weather for this Friday morning. Thank you for joining us.
We'll see you next Friday. Stay safe and have a great weekend.